Have you noticed that the president gets all the blame for issues that relate to our government? Has it ever crossed your mind of why this is? It seems like the president is always in the hot seat. Well, you may be shocked to find out that while everyone is looking at the president, Congress, the real key players in how government affects our lives, often fly right under our radar. But why is that? There's a common misconception that the president wields most of the power in our government. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is our government is designed with a system of checks and balances where power is divided among three branches: the executive, legislative, and judicial. The president heads the executive branch, while Congress represents the legislative. Each branch has its distinct roles and responsibilities, but these often overlap, leading to confusion and misunderstanding. Consider this. While the president is often the face of our nation's policies, it's Congress that's responsible for making the laws, overseeing the budget, and declaring war. The president, on the other hand, executes and enforces the laws that Congress passes. This division of power is integral to the functioning of our democracy, yet it's often misunderstood. This misunderstanding is further exacerbated by the media's tendency to focus on the president. After all, the president is a single individual, while Congress is made up of hundreds of representatives, and it's far easier to blame or praise the one than it is to distribute it among the many. But this can lead to a skewed perception of who is accountable for what in our government. So, next time you find yourself quick to blame the president for an issue, ask yourself if it's really the president's job, or does it fall under the purview of Congress? Because understanding the power dynamics of our government is crucial to being an informed voting citizen. So what exactly is the job of Congress? Ultimately, the primary role of Congress is to draft and enact legislation, to introduce bills and turn them into our laws. This is a complex process, often involving committees, subcommittees, and intricate parliamentary procedures. A bill can be introduced in either the Senate or the House, but it must get approval from both to be sent to the desk of the president. And what if the president vetoes it? Congress can override this veto with a 2/3 majority vote in both chambers. Congress also has the authority to declare war, a power vested in them by the War Powers Resolution of 1973. Congress is also responsible for the nation's financial resources. Through appropriations, which is the allocation of federal funds, they establish the budget and decide what gets funded and what doesn't. This power of the purse acts as a vital check on the executive branch, ensuring that the president and federal agencies can't spend money without oversight. The Senate and the House of Representatives also have specific obligations within these main duties. For example, the Senate approves the president's nominations for federal positions, while the House initiates bills that raise revenue. So congressional responsibilities and powers are not just abstract, but probably have the most effect on our lives. And why does this matter? Because understanding these duties is the key to understanding the balance of our government's power. Without this knowledge, we risk misdirecting our frustrations and fail to hold the right people responsible for issues facing our nation. Now that that's been covered, forget it all, because these days, maybe we should be placing blame exactly where we just made the case not to, directly on the president. Let's talk about the president's ability to bypass the lawmaking process. This is largely accomplished through a mechanism known as an executive order. Executive orders are directives given by the president that manage the operations of the federal government. They are legally binding and have the same legal effect as laws passed by Congress. However, they don't involve Congress in their creation or enactment. For instance, President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which declared freedom for all slaves in Confederate-held territory, was an executive order. More recently, President Obama used an executive order to establish the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, which protected eligible immigrant youth from deportation. However, while executive orders allow the president to bypass the legislative process, they are not without checks and balances. Executive orders must be within the confines of the Constitution and existing laws, and they can be scrutinized by the courts. For instance, President Trump's travel ban executive order faced several legal challenges and was ultimately upheld by the Supreme Court, but not without modifications. In addition, Congress can pass a new law to override an executive order, although this requires a majority in both the House and Senate, which can be difficult to achieve. The president's power to issue executive orders is also constrained by public opinion and the potential for political backlash. So, while the president does have some ability to go around Congress, it's not without its limitations. This power can be used to enact significant changes, but it's also subject to checks and balances that prevent it from becoming a tool for unchecked presidential power. Thanks for watching.